what can we do with this? This is aerogel. I want to know what would happen if we mix this with maybe UV resin and epoxy. Look, it's just falling apart. It's bubbling and that's just breaking apart. This is not what I had in mind, guys. You would not believe that is resin. Right, we are back. I never thought I'd say that again, guys. It's been, what, a year since my last video? It's been horrible. We're not going to go there. I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm here now. That's all that matters. Videos might not be as consistent as they were for a little while, so I'm just going to kind of take it slowly and just, you know, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself, but we are back with another crazy resin art experiment. Just a massive shout out to all of you. So many of you have been sending me messages and putting comments and asking how I am. I have read a lot of them. Obviously I can't read them all, but thank you so much. And there are some channels who have been supporting me as well and doing some shout outs and reassuring their followers. You know, I really am sorry I couldn't keep you all updated too much, but yeah, we are here. We're just going to take it slow and easy. I missed you all, guys, but we are back with another crazy resin art experiment. What happens, or what will happen, what can we do with this? This is aerogel, apparently designed by NASA. I haven't looked too much into it. I saw a video whilst I was kind of off for a very long time of this stuff, and I just you know what my brain's like. I'm like, oh, I wonder. So I bought some. I've had this for a good 6 months, and I've just thought, what can I do with this? I mean, it's so light. It really is crazy stuff. I don't know how fragile this is. I haven't really had a proper look at it. I don't know how it's made, what it's made with. I mean, I think it's some kind of silica. I don't know. Yeah, silica aerogel. I want to know. It's quite squeaky. Can you hear that? I want to know what would happen if we mix this with maybe UV resin and epoxy. It could go both ways. Could this absorb the resin? Is it going to release a lot of bubbles? Could we color this maybe with an alcohol ink or a powder? I don't know. It's so light. But yeah, let's see where this one goes. I think what I'm going to have to do is, you can't really see it that well when I put it on. I always lay this down so it's nice and clean and tidy, but you can't really see it, so I'm going to remove this. I should have thought about that. And there you go. We're just going to have a look at different. Oh, there's a lot of small broken bits in there. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, because I want to try something with like a small part, maybe this to begin with. Hopefully I can sweep the rest of this up and put it back in the container. It is crazy stuff. That's like a really shiny edge on that where it's been cut. I can't really see it on camera. Oh, it just falls apart. So we know it's very brittle. So I think what I'm going to try to begin with is just put in some UV resin. We're going to be using the Let's Resin UV. I hope this is okay. It's been sitting here for over a year. We'll find out. Yeah, we're just going to see what happens. I want to see if this kind of kicks out a lot of bubbles when we mix it with some resin. I really need to learn how to do all this stuff again, because my focus isn't working. Where, oh, look at, see how that's kind of going. Guys, you're gonna have to bear with me. It's bubbling. Is that melting? I don't know. I mean, it's not what I expected to happen, but you never know unless you do these things. It's gone like a... Is that absorbing it or is it melting it? I really don't know. I think I'm just going to coat the whole thing. I wasn't expecting that. And then I think I'm going to cure that and just see that it's like that's peeling away. Ooh. It's kind of... I think what I need to do, right, is put some in some water and see if it does the same thing. Okay, I've just got some cold water in there. It might act differently with warm water. I think it's just going to be the same, to be honest. You see that fizzing away? It's like, I don't know, like a dry ice, but see how that's gone very transparent. And that's just breaking apart. This is not what I had in mind, guys. I was really hoping that I could colour this stuff with some alcohol ink. But I think alcohol ink is going to do exactly the same thing, like super fast. But let's take that out and just see. It's almost like that gel stuff you get in like baby's nappies, that powder stuff that's really super absorbent. Yeah, it's just turned it into mush. But hey, we're gonna cure it anyway. We might as well. There's me trying to get it out so I can cure it under the lamp, and it's so fragile. Should we just try and cure it in the pot? Then I'm not going to be able to get it out. You can tell I haven't thought this through, guys. Not at all. Yeah, we'll just cure it in the pot. So I just gave that a minute and I turned it every so many seconds, like 10 seconds. I still think it's going to be very fragile. It's just that we've kind of coated the outside of it. So it's just peeling away. And it's not strong at all. This is a shame. I was really hoping I could make something using this. But I suppose it's not over yet. We're going to try a few different things and hopefully, yeah, look, it's just falling apart. I think we need to try the alcohol ink. I want to see what happens. I think it's really going to sizzle up. So let's grab a colour. I'm just going to grab one of the Let's Resin from the 48 ink set. I'm just going to grab a colour. What's that? Midnight blue. Have I pierced it? Probably not. Right. Are you ready? I think it's going to sizzle like a Pepsi in a glass. It's not really. It's not flowing through as much as I thought it would. It is breaking off though. Similar to what it did. I can't even pick it up. This is going really well. Similar to what it did with the resin and the water. Well, the water just obliterated it. But it's not. I was hoping it would kind of go all the way through. It's clever stuff. But yeah, that's just, it's hit the surface. It's kind of absorbed into the surface and then it flakes off. Again, not really what I wanted. But I wonder if epoxy would be any different. I don't know. I mean, I think we know something for sure. This stuff is going to float in epoxy. So it is what it is. Maybe we'll just end up with a cabochon with just a kind of backing detail. I really don't know, but it's going to float. So I'm not going to use the really big piece because it is cool stuff. I want to try and keep that one intact. I don't know what for. What would I do with it? Anyway, I'm going to break some apart into different cups and we're going to try maybe a nail powder. Could use a mica powder. I don't know. Again, I'm just making this up. It's what we do. Try and get all those little bits that fell out at the start when I tipped it out. Might as well make use of those because I'm not going to be able to do anything with the little bits. It really does look like crazy stuff. So some of the bigger chunks I'm just going to break down a little bit more inside the cup, and then I think I'm just going to put some colour in, some powder in, and just shake them around. A bit like salt on your chips or fries. Okay, I've just grabbed one of my nail powders. I don't need much of this stuff. It does go a long way. Probably not going to be able to see it. It's static, look at that. It's not going very well. But it's going to be that way for a little while, guys. I'm not going to be full you know, in full swing with all this YouTubey business again for a little while. It might take you know, a couple of months to get back to where I was, but at least I'm not as shaky as I was in my first video. Shall we have a look and just take a piece out and see what it looks like covered? It's almost like an opal style, but it's just too fragile for my liking. This is like a green color, but look at it. It looks so stunning. Yeah, we've got a gold. Can't really see that. And the last color, can't even tell you what that is. It's like a greeny blue. But we're going to see what happens when we... I think what I'm going to do is mix some epoxy, pour it into my cabochon mold, and then maybe just carefully put some of these mini chunks, flakes, on the top of the resin. Let it cure, and then maybe I can try and back it with a black epoxy. I don't know. All I know is it gets everywhere. So for the epoxy, we are again using the Let's Resin Collab Daniel Cooper epoxy. It's a 1-1, medium viscosity. I can't even say the word, it's been so long. Medium viscosity. I'm gonna just mix up a small amount of this. Okay, so I have mixed up my resin. I'm just gonna pour that in a couple of these cavities, but I think it's gonna do the same thing as it did with the UV resin. So I had a thought whilst I was mixing it. I'm gonna try it as it is on one. I think it's going to go that white colour. And then I thought, what if I wait for the resin to really thicken up? Will it still react the same way on the surface of the aerogel? It's worth a try. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I think tweezers is probably a better option than trying to pick them out with the toothpick or cocktail stick, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to float some of these. It's going to take me a while, guys. I could just tip it, I suppose. I'll see how I go with this. Yeah, look, you can see already this one here. You can see those bubbles coming out as well. I don't think this is going to be very pretty, but we need a comparison, don't we? I'm going to carry on, and with the other ones, I'm going to wait until the resin's really thick and then kind of push the pieces on, and hopefully we'll get a different result. You never know. So what I'm beginning to see is not what I thought would happen, but it is happening. You can see the pieces beginning to sink where they're absorbing. The resin on the surface is pulling them down. So I just hope we can still see some colour on the surface. Really don't know. I'm just going to continue adding different colours. Okay, those ones are done, and what I did at the end, because I don't really want too much empty space, is I just took the containers. You can see there's really small shards in there, and I kind of just tapped the container to try and get some of the smaller pieces out onto the back surface. And then I think I'm going to have to break up some more for the other ones, which we're going to wait for probably about an hour or so. Okay, so my resin is now hopefully quite thick. Yeah, you can see. So we're going to just chuck a bit in and just see what happens. I'm going to use the stick because it's got a little bit of resin on it, so it should be able to pick up. Is it going to turn white like the others? I don't know. I'm going to let that sit for a couple of minutes and then we'll be back. So I'm going to prod it down a little bit further. It's not going white as well so far, but it could. When we put it in the ready mixed resin, it kind of went white pretty quickly. So I think this could hopefully hold its kind of translucent transparency, glass-like, you know what I'm saying. So it's been a few minutes, so I'm just going to continue. putting the little bits in, mix of colours, same as I did with the other ones. And yeah, the only thing is with this, I mean, with the ones with the fresh resin, I could kind of, what I did was kind of move them around a little bit to kind of aid some of the air bubbles to the surface. What's going to happen with this, I think when I'm putting it in, it's going to be difficult to do it without bubbles sticking to the front of the pieces, but we'll see. Right, okay, so I've had to push them, the pieces down to cram quite a bit in. Some of the pieces are starting to look like they're going white, but only little bits, like not fully. But I think what this could add is a lot of loose bits on the back. Kind of as you're pushing them, they go flying. It's like shrapnel, but some of it's landing in the other ones, but I don't care. It's going to be tricky to back these because they are, you know, it's a bit sticking up here and there, but I'm hoping we're going to get like a, I don't know, like a crystal effect, almost like a cracked quartz. But we'll see. I'm fully expecting some bubbles, but you do get bubbles in some crystals, so I don't know, we'll just wait and see. Quickly before I go, we wait for these to cure, I'm just using my finger, my gloved finger, just to push down. So I don't really want any loose bits. I can clean them off once it's cured, it's not really a problem, but it's also helping to make sure that it's kind of flat. Right, we are all fully cured. Now, I did mention in the video that I was potentially going to back these. I'm really not sure these are gonna be worth mixing more resin up with. I mean, these ones, they look promising from the back. I can see some bubbles through there though, but I mean, they look almost crystal-like, but I'm just not sure. So, I mean, these ones, I think they're just gonna look like bits of broken up sugar cubes chucked in resin. I think they're gonna look dreadful. They could. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop them out, assess the damage, and then go from there. But before we do that, as always, please give the video a thumbs up. It has been such a long time. I really do need your help. But a huge thank you to all of you who have been watching my content through this gap of filming, and to all my channel members who have still supporting me for this long. A massive thank you, and a huge shout out and thank you to my family for, yeah, being there for me through the year and, yeah, getting through it all. But let's see what these are like. I'm going to start with this one here. I really do think these are going to be dreadful. Almost like clouds. I'm not really seeing any colour in there either. Maybe. I can see some colour. Oh, I'm so scared for the other ones. Right, let's get these out because I think they're all going to be the same. You can't really do anything with that. They'll go in my huge collection of bits that I don't know what to do with. I'm sure we've all got them. Yeah, they're not brilliant, are they? But hopefully we've got something with the ones we added the aerogel into after the resin had sat there for a little while. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. I really do like the look of these from the back. You can see that piece of gel there, it's got like a smoky look to it. But do you know what? I don't know. I'm not seeing much colour, but it is a really cool effect. It does look like cracked crystal. I'm not overly disappointed. I'm disappointed that there's not much colour, but I'm loving the effect that's given. I want to see some colour. Let's go with this one. You can see some there. Let me get my focus right. You can see some blue and some purple in there. But is it enough? I'm not seeing any gold. A tiny tint of gold there. But do you know what? It does look pretty cool. I wonder if I could back these with maybe a film or a chameleon flake. I'm thinking Fran's film from Little Windows, the dichroish films. That could really pop that. So I think we're going to continue with one more quick try on these just to try and salvage them, because that is a really cool effect. What are you thinking? Let me know in the comments. I'm loving, you can see that kind of haziness to the gel. Really does pop like a crystal. Let's go with a heart. It is something very, very different. This one's gone very white. Doesn't look so bad on the back because you can kind of see through parts of it, but when you flip it, it's different, isn't it? It's not as many bubbles as I thought there would be. But I definitely think something needs to pop this to finish it off. Sorry, I'm waffling. It's been a while. Look at that. It's missing something though, isn't it? I don't mind coming back to this. I've still got some more of the stuff here. If you've got some suggestions of what we could try, but I am going to try. I might try chameleon flakes and the film. Look at that bit down there. It's almost like an opal. And that is pretty crazy. It's just missing some colour. Right, let me grab some films and we kind of hold it up to it and just see what it does. So again, Fran over at Little Windows, she was kind enough to send me a couple more packs of these. I have still got lots of offcuts, but you've probably seen me use these, or other artists on the channel on YouTube using these. You can fuse them together with a heat gun and they give off some really cool colours and effects. I've got some offcuts that I did in the past. I just want to see if anything kind of pops for it. Look at that. That is the way, I think. I wonder what it would look like. There's like an opal colour film. Yeah, that's not really popping as much as the fused films are. That is stunning. So I think I'm gonna just cut a piece of this existing one off instead of making the video even longer. Not that you'd mind, because it has been a while. I think I'm just gonna cut a section of that off and just see how that looks. Yeah, I'm happy. I am happy now that these have come out quite nicely. That's a bit busy. I think we're just gonna do the oval. Just gonna do that one. So just gonna quickly snip this part of the video down. Just gonna cut around the cabochon. Guys, just look at that. I know I keep saying it, but look at that. So I'm going to have to level this off because it is really bumpy. I should really have been a bit more patient, but I didn't know what they were going to look like. I could have added another layer. I had enough room in the mould to level that off, but we're just going to make do for now. But if you are trying this stuff's not cheap, by the way. But if you want this effect, then you're going to need it. So I'm just going to level that off as best I can. I may have to do some tidying up and then adhere that on with some more UV resin, and I'm probably going to have to back it as well to hold it all in place. Again with the Let's Resin UV resin. All links, products are in the description below. I think my codes might have changed. So if I have them, I'll pop them in the description with the links. So we're just going to do one more thin layer. I've snipped a couple of the raised bits off with some scissors. Another thin layer, put the film on and then cure that and then back it again with another. But like I said, what I would have done if I'd known this had come out the way it did, I would have left the cabochon in there. I would have leveled it off to begin with, maybe placed the film in and then backed it with another layer, because I did have enough room in there, but I can't do that now because some of you may be thinking, why didn't you just put it back in there and then top it up? Because the resin will seep down the sides and then it would be a right pain to sand all that off and polish it up, so I had to do it this way. Okay, I'm ready to back this. I'm going to back it with some black resin. What you'll notice is the slight gap around the edge of the film. I trimmed off just a small amount after cutting around the cabochon. You won't notice that from the front because the magnification of the doming. But what that will allow is a backing coat cover, whatever, to adhere and hold the film in place. Otherwise, what can happen is that the resin can actually pull away from the film. And again, if you're using black mica powder in UV resin, very minimal. I can't get my words out today. Very minimal amount. You're better off doing small amount and then layer up the black if you need to, like do 2 coats. Otherwise, it won't cure. Okay, so I've done one with chameleon flakes and the one that I showed you with the film. I've had another idea before I show you those. Sorry, you know what my brain's like. So I was thinking about how I could potentially kind of shape the aerogel into much larger, more natural looking shapes instead of lots of little clumped ones. And then my brain thought, well, what if we kind of made some of the edges of the gel black with some black alcohol ink to make it look like kind of black veins, natural black veins that you find in gems and crystals. But what I'm thinking, I don't know if this is going to work because I've still got some exposed gel on the back where it didn't fully submerge in the resin. I'm wondering what will happen if I kind of add black alcohol ink to this now, let it sink in, whether that will kind of work its way into the gel. There's only one way to find out. Again, I'm just using the Let's Resin black for this. This could ruin it, but guys, it's what we do. We don't know until we try. So I'm just going to add some of the black alcohol ink. It's a bit clogged up where it hasn't been used. Let's try again. There we go. I don't know whether to just cover the whole back and try and clean off any excess afterwards. See, some of it is just flaking off. I don't know. Just let that sink in. Okay, let's just have a look at the front. It's going to look terrible probably. No, it's not too bad. You can see the black there. So then I'm thinking if we were to add the film afterwards, it's almost like a fire opal. It's just an idea. I was hoping it would work its way into it a bit more. So I think by staining it before we put it in the resin, it would definitely work. But yeah, I don't know whether to coat more now. I think I'm going to coat more. So I've just done this one. If you look close enough, you can now see the colours from the dusting at the beginning. So the black has worked its way through. But if you look closely, it has worked its way in exactly how I wanted it to. So back to the heart, I think I'm going to add some more black ink. But you see the difference, and you can see those colours really popping now from the powders. I mean, I've added more to this bit down here, and one edge is now completely black and sparkly. And I've just done this small round one as well. I mean, I don't even need to put the film on the back of these. I don't think it's going to show. Adding that black alcohol ink has really kind of popped those fine powders that we used. Really showing some detail in there now. That's incredible. But the thing is, now we've added that alcohol ink, we have to wait, because I was going to back these with UV resin. We have to wait until this is completely dry, otherwise it's gonna go really yucky and start spitting out as it's curing the heat, and the black alcohol ink is going to start spitting out the sides. So we need to wait for that to fully evaporate and cure before we back them. Okay, we are pretty much at the end. This one is outstanding. I've sanded it down and I'm going to do a dip because it's been a while since I've done a resin dip. So inside this pot, this solid black pot, no light can penetrate through to cure my resin. Again, it is just the Let's Resin clear hard type UV. You see lots of bits in the bottom where they've sunk, where I've done so much dipping in the past. So we're going to dip this and get a really nice, I can't wait for this. So I've got my lamp just to the side of me. So basically you've seen me do this before, those who are following on my channel. We dip it, let the excess run off, turn it, pull up the mask and rotate it under our lamp. That simple. Right, are you ready? We're just going to dip that in. And I'll talk you through exactly how I did this one at the end. Look at that colour coming through. You would not believe that is resin. That is phenomenal. So again, I'm just going to let that just drip off over the next maybe 30 seconds. And then when I take it to the lamp, I'm going to continue turning that so that I don't get a build up. Because if I hold that for a few seconds, what will happen is it will have a drip mark on the front. And when it comes to putting that under the lamp, it's going to really mess up the piece. Right, to the lamp. Going to keep turning that as it's curing. Once it's cured, if it's tacky at all, just pop it in a small cup of water, cold water is fine, and just cure it again under the lamp so there's not sticky. I haven't had to do it this time. So, but yeah, as for the stick, just a gentle twist, and then you can file off or snip off that back bit as you need to. Look at that. That looks like a real stone. So as my videos and experiments always go, we start off with an idea, we then think upon that, tweak it, change it. It's all about the what ifs. What if I was to do this differently? What if I was to do that differently? And I just film as I go. I literally just film as I go, you know that. So we never really know how the video is going to go. So we ended up with these horrible things that, yeah, can't really do anything with these. I don't know what they'd look like backed. Yeah, still not as nice. Then we moved on to kind of playing around with just adding the film. So that was the dichroic films, backed with a thin layer of quite translucent black. And I was very, very happy with that. Compared to what we had, you know, that's a big step. And there was another one, I think I backed that one with black as well. So, I mean, they're not terrible. I really like the way that the gel kind of refracts as well. It's almost like ice. This was one that I did with this sheet. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think you can order this one separately. I'm really not sure. So you'll have to check at Little Windows. And then that was using just a white background on that. And there's some colour. It's very subtle. It's not terrible, but I think that's in the right light. This camera is really not picking up on it as much. I'll have to get some photos and put them at the end. It's really not picking up the colours. Then we moved on to these ones. This one here, again, we added the black alcohol ink to all three of these. I really like this one. The powders have really popped. This one I did with the same film with a white background. Same as this one. The only difference is we added the black alcohol ink. And you can see how much of a difference that makes. Some of the powder's a bit, I'm not sure. I love the way the gold sparkles up there with this one. So I think adding the black alcohol ink for me was the best thing to do. Again, we thought about what if, we did it, and then we got the result. So it's all about kind of, yeah, like I said, the what ifs. With this one again, same film, very translucent black backing and that. But this one is phenomenal. I absolutely love this. Again, same film, black background. Let's find a bezel for it. Now I've got these, I ordered these whilst I was off as well. They're different sizes. I'm not sure about wood though, because I'm really worried about these eyelets snapping, but I mean, just as an idea, I think I've got some other bezels somewhere. Don't ask me where I got these bezels from, because I really don't know. I have got some nicer ones somewhere, but I really don't know. I can't remember where everything is in my studio at the moment. It's going to take me a while to get back into it all. But yeah, I'm going to pop some photos on the end. As always, again, please interact with the video. Help me out by pushing the content out there. If you've skipped to the end, please go back and watch from the beginning. It really does kill the channel. I can't tell you that enough. It really does hurt the views and the interactions. But there you go. Is it worth doing? For me, I love the experiment. I love the results. I'm not sure. I can't remember the cost of this stuff, but there's still quite a bit in there. But I think there's still more to try with this. Again, drop some comments. What should we try? Right, I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.